Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are bringing you guys our tour of the USS Yorktown, the second of the Essex-class carrier sister ship to the Hornet, who we visited at the beginning of the year. So in addition to the Laffey, who we visited a couple of weeks ago, we of course also visited the Yorktown when we were at Patriots Point. Yorktown was commissioned during World War II and had a pretty similar service history to the Hornet. She served in the later years of the war and went on to serve through the 70s as an anti-submarine carrier, and also participated in the space program recovering the Apollo 8 capsule. It was most interesting to visit the Yorktown after having spent the night on her sister, the Hornet, at the beginning of 2023. So go ahead, sit on back, get yourself a snack, and enjoy our tour of the Yorktown. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, share with your friends. Helps on the YouTube side of things, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. So enjoy our tour of the USS Yorktown.
Have a B-25 just chilling in here. Oh, a chapel.
Gets back forward over 16 torpedo bombs. And the Hornet CD-8 moves along. For a while, they're sitting there looking at that. The American dialogue coming in and they finish in Singapore. 5.5 pounds on the ship. Away to stretch. 300 or so coming in there and ships coming in and moving around. The Navy has a standing order in World War II. All of these boys, 18 years old, have got to have 4,000 calories a day. I don't care what you do, you give them 4,000 calories. Last ration is at 12 a.m. and that's leftover food from the previous day. They need it. Anxiety, being away from home, all the work they're doing, in combat, whatever, they need everything they can get in their bodies, okay? When they're through eating, they'll go to their tray, put their tray in there. Now what you can't hear, and we've got 4 of them in the other galleys and areas, it's not a scudder, but it's where they'll grind the food up, the bones, the leftover apple peels and cores, and turn it almost into a sand, and then dump it overboard. We can't have 15,000 meals floating around up there because that's a torpedo trail, okay? Pop it right on in. One thing worse than that is leaking oil, okay? This tells us where we are. We're on the 3rd deck, frame 111 on the starboard side. Anything with an odd number is starboard, right-hand side. Anything even number is port. We're in the middle of the ship. Frame 205 is on the stern. That's all the way back there in the back. Okay, we're on the 3rd deck. STDs, whatever, you name it, it was here. Or they had other issues going on. Or they're recuperating from surgery after being injured while in the plane when they got hit with flak as they're coming on in and they were operating on, they would come in here. If they passed away, we would bury them up in Hangar Bay 3. Out there, they'd be in the Navy. We didn't have money to send them home. All right, everybody back in those days, we buried at sea. But anyway, our very first casualty on board this ship was in November of 1943, was a pharmacist mate who died from complications from head lice. Killed him, okay? Now, as a pharmaceutical salesman who has a degree in biochemistry and anatomy, I'm thinking about being a doctor at one time, but anyway, that head lice doesn't kill people. And in my talks with the doctors, we firmly believe that there was a fungus or a bacteria that was on the head lice that got into the oral cavity or into the nasal cavity and got into his system, and it just shut it down. Sepsis, whatever, okay? So today we might have something called an epi to help him out. And then we'll go to sick call every day at 0800, 1400, 2 p.m. You could come down there and tell the Master Chief, the Master Chief Corpsman, I don't feel good today, I don't think I can work. And then it would be up to him to see whether or not you're going to come in here and get a little bit of a vacation. ratio, kill ratio, 19 to 1. Its closest planes to it, the P-51 Mustang. It flies faster, but it had to protect planes. This plane only had one job and one job only. If it had a big red dot on it, blasted out of the sky. Okay? Camouflage, navy blue in 1943, if you're looking down on it, you're looking up to the blend of the clouds. By 1945, it was only light blue. They didn't have to worry about it. The American pilots, we pretty much got more and more pilots. We were sweeping the sky. There's only one plane that can break this record right now. It's still flying right now. It's never been shot down. It's the F-15 Strike Eagle. I've often said if we gave it to the Ukrainians and let them fly against the Russians, we'd probably initiate World War III, but there'd be no Russian planes flying over there right now. Okay? No doubt about it. By the way, 50 caliber machine gun, we carry rockets and a bomb. My pilot is protected by bullet-resistant metal and glass. The big thing about us is every 6 months we rotated our pilots home, let them teach new American aviators in America, and then they come back and serve on a different carrier. Okay? In Japan, once you got into the war, there's 2 ways you're going to come home. You're either going to come home a victor and earn a medal from the emperor, or like most of them did, they came home in a 3x5 canoe. Okay? Follow me. This is our target. The western side of Guam, called Orote. It's a Japanese airfield. My fighter planes are going to come in first. They're going to blow anything on the ground right out of the area. In the event that we take a hit, these are the coordinates where we can land or at least abandon our plane, and hopefully a sub will pick us up and take us on back. Okay? And usually submariners, if they've been out on tour, their tours lasted 45 to 55 days in World War II. Okay? And they're on day 38 to 42, they've already eaten all their fresh fruits and vegetables, okay? They don't have much storage space. So by day 42 to 44 to 45, they're eating lima beans. And if we pick up a downed aviator and take him back to his carrier, we get 10 gallons of ice cream out of this. That's 2 dishes a day on that. So pick him on up. My pilot will be up, my leader would be up here, my skipper, talking to them, show them a picture of the area they're going to bomb. They'll feel the ship kind of move to one side, whatever it may be. That's him taking the hint. The captain's turning us into the wind. He's ready to launch. They'll reach in there and grab their parachutes. They'll walk out there. The plane captain, who wears a brown shirt, who will eventually be an aviator, well, who's kind of built like a knight errant built with them on that time. He'll strap them on in, make sure they're well taken care of. He'll look to the person in the yellow shirt who's in charge of launching you at this time, getting you in the air. He'll say, my guys are ready. And he will point to them and says, have them look at me and I'll bring them forward. All right, those of you who paid for the captain's tour, follow me.
Keep going, guys. We're going to try to go to the flight deck.
The CIC. That guy looks familiar. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that tour. They were just kind of standing in the hallway, so we started following them. And then they're like, oh yeah, I know if you paid for the captain's tour, come with us. I'm like, whoa. Well, Dad's all right. It's an F4. There is a lot of wind up here. So it's kind of good after being kind of sweltering inside for a bit. It's an F-18, Blue Angel F-18. They swapped to the Super Hornets in 2022. So that's the single-seater one. Oh, they took the engine out. Oh, they took both engines out. Yeah, no, I guess the Navy could still use those, so they didn't give those with the airframe. Look at the tail hook. That's what catches the cable when they land. Better pray to God that that thing's torqued to spec if you're the pilot. Ever wonder how many countries around the world would kill to get like just one of these aircraft? And we just have museum ships full of them, just sitting here doing nothing. What's the cable you had to catch? Oh, that's heavy. That is solid. Well, I guess it had to be. Another F-14. The Hornet has one too. So that's something they have in common. It is a big plane. Like the F-18, it's a lot smaller than this thing. What's that? The engine. You notice how big this is when you're playing War Thunder? It's huge. That's one reason why it almost didn't get the contract. I think that's why the Air Force didn't pick it up, because it was too big. Oh well, their loss. Okay. Is it Chartroom? I think, yes it is. Oh, again. What? That's a cool angle to look at. Oh, I don't want to sit on that chair. Are you playing with the phone? That's missing the handle. That's just a cool piece of technology, these phones. There's our accidental tour group down there.
Jack?
It does go up more. Oh, no, it doesn't. Sad. Remember this from the Hornet? I had one of those too. We're back in the hangar deck. Hey, I got one of those in my classroom. Oh, I remember that hum. I remember that so much from spending the night on the Hornet. It's a very familiar sound. The Catapult, that's what this is. That explains a lot. That's insane. So you need to throw a fighter jet off the front of a ship.
See these big gears? Yeah, that's stuff with like a cable or something all around it.
All the cables. Imagine being down here and one of these snaps. That's got to be terrifying. Just a random 16-inch shell, just chilling here. Cool. There we go, that showed up. That looks good. Looks very good. Especially since I only packed jeans and no shorts because it's supposed to be in the 40s today. The old Coke fountain. I think that's what that is. I don't know, I'm not that old. I really buy models on these things back in like the 70s and 80s. That's interesting. That's some very new crest back there. I know it served into like the 70s, but a little bit too new, I think. I'm so close. So close to it. A little nice A1 over there too. God, I want to build one of those. Terry just pointed these out, but see, the thing is, Terry, I have one of these. Oh, look at the ammo though. I could use some of that. There's that grinder he was talking about earlier. Grind it all out and drop it in the ocean. Is it weird that their laundry's smaller than that on the North Carolina? Oh, this carried more men? I don't know if that makes sense. I guess technology had improved by then, but you'd think still there's more people on the hello Yamato. Yami. Golly. Now that's a model. I don't even want to know how long this took. Well, some of the proportions look a little off. Like how the Iowa has the most like a religious setting here. The sun setting in the background. There's a piece of the Arizona. Hey Terry. Look. But she wants the ring.